There's one thing I've come to realize is that I must like pain because I really like shit boxes. I got one yesterday. Here is my 98 Civic sedan. And, there's a few things wrong with it. AC is going to come out, doesn't work. No power steering, and it's like the worst power steering pump I've ever seen. It's locked up at a certain point. Dirty, crashed. Thankfully, I don't see any oil leaks. I need to put the fan back on. It's got good wheels, new tires. Nice and dirty and messy. That's so. He's asking the lifelong question on the EK Hondas. Does the EF suspension fit? Well, short form, no. Ask me how I know. So in short form, pretty much, I bought myself a 98 EK, and it had these gorgeous coilovers on it, and they were together, but I noticed when I was driving, the car felt like it was teetering on the suspension, and I didn't know exactly what it was, so I thought the coilovers were too soft. Well, so I took them apart, and they kept, pulling out, and I couldn't figure out why. And then when I went to actually pull this thing out, the whole rod came out, and I guess it unthreaded. I guess this guy unthreaded, and it just kept getting beat up in there. It was just beating the guts out of this thing. And well, let's say this thing came out in two pieces. So I had leftover stock suspension, thankfully, from my EF Civic, and the front went on without a hitch. Wasn't a problem. And then I put these in the back this morning and noticed that they technically don't fit. When you set it on the arm, where the arm is, these tails aren't long enough. So what you have to do is take a grinder or something and then just put a little notch in here. And it's not big enough that these are going to fail, but that's the only way that these are going to fit. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick, because I'm not driving on those. And yesterday I only put the front stock ones in and the back coilovers in, and it drives awful, just because the back's so stiff and then the front soft. It feels very like you don't know where it's gonna go. We just took the grinding disc and just walked it back and forth until you got a nice little notch out in it. And then we took the sanding wheel and just cleaned it all up so nobody gets cut. And then I'm gonna go smack some paint on it. That way it's, I don't know, habit. Keep it from rusting. I live on the coast, so squint like all the way with your eyes shut. It's mint. Honestly, nobody's even gonna know. Hopefully they're not even on there long enough. So see, it fits. It's just very, very tight right here. God dang. I feel like that right now. I feel like that. So I got this Civic, it's probably been like 3 weeks or a month ago. And I knew it had been hit, and it needed like the bumper and the hood and stuff like that. And it didn't look great. It was all misaligned, and I didn't think about it. Had a clean title. But since getting rid of some things that I don't need, made some discoveries, and we're gonna attempt to address them. So let's just see what we're working with here, because I don't want to try to explain. I just want you to see it, and then You'll understand. Legendary. No. Common. Yes. Alright, so big issue is right in this area, because I mean, I just unbolted this, but nothing lines up great. The bumper doesn't line up here or here. This doesn't match up. The hood sits like back here when it's closed. It goes like right here. And come to find out, after I removed all of this stuff, because the power steering pulley is bent and it would like spin and lock, and it's because of this right here. This, yep, it's not great. It's not great. So it looks like it got hit right here, and this side goes up, and or no, this side I think goes down, and this side goes up. So this whole thing is bad, pretty much. So I just started working on this, and I'm gonna see if we can just get it straight-ish, and if not, then we're gonna make a game plan to fabricate a upper and lower tubular, whatever you call these, cross, it's not the cross member, can't think of it. So yeah, pretty much if I can't get this straight enough to be okay, because at some point I would probably like to do that anyway. If it does come to that point, I'm gonna have to cut this off where it's still straight, and then make extension plates, and then like almost like a bash bar style, like tubular, where it supports the radiator, supports, you know, all this, everything that needs to be supported. Wax on, wax off. So yeah, it's a mess. See what it looks like after I start pulling some things off. This one should maybe come out, or no, we have to. Nice and rusty, extra flavor. I'm just not trying to slip and hit a bunch of things, because you know how they do. So that one, and then there should be the one down here. And I'm just realizing that this bumper is actually green. And that's bumper on the ground. Like, decided to go for fall vacation too. Okay, I can already see it. This whole thing got like, it's just kind of pushed like that. This is straight. It's pushed over really far. I'm gonna have to try and kind of straighten this. This car is never gonna be perfect, and I don't care about that, because when you have I've never had a perfect car, and I probably never will, because when you do, then you have to stress about it every time you drive it. So like getting dings and dents and scratches, and having kids and people that don't pay attention, you know, it just has to look good from about 10-15 feet away, you know. Now I gotta put these back in so I don't lose them. I don't know how this comes across on camera, but this one looks pretty straight. This one looks a little different. Ka-chow. I was sitting here looking for the other, the headlight housing bolt, And I could not find it. It was looking on the ground forever, looked over there, looked at the headlight, and it's right there. Well, I mean, the good side to having the fucked up car is this is only taking about 20 minutes to get this far down, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull these fenders while I'm at it just to get a visual on everything, and I'm not gonna have to worry about tearing those up because those are pretty much brand new. So we'll go pull those off next. But man, yeah, if I can get this square, you can see like this is straight right here, and you can see like this hole should be centered with this, and so it's probably a good inch off. It's mostly this one's pulled down and then the bottom's pushed over, which is kind of twisting that light, so it's pulled out. So we're gonna get these fenders pulled off and then get a good look at everything. And it kind of looks like my rad's bent too. It's this would be straight, so yeah, I'm pretty sure it's bent, so we'll get a good inspection on that and see if it's cracked anywhere. Pulling this fender, I was gonna pull this bolt, and then I realized there was another bolt up here on that side, and that's how far off we are from this being aligned out here. I can definitely tell so far that this is bubbled out. Like this is probably straight, and so yeah, this is kicked out pretty far. Side's being really dirty. This side actually, from here back, looks really good. I did have to put the stock shocks back on it, or the struts, because the that coil was in 2 pieces. Yeah, that don't look natural. That's definitely not natural there. Down here is not super obvious. This frame rail is pretty straight. You like this custom, this is nice. It's like 4 different things. It's like all just different pieces of pipe. But this one, man, it's just like, this is straight and this is, it's just not. Just like over here, you know, everything here back looks pretty good. So worst case situation, I cut the front half of the car off and redo it, but I think we can get it straight enough to get everything lined up. Yeah, how it kicks down. Boop boop. And you can tell this is all tweaked in, so we do a lot of hammer hits today. Yeah, you can really see right here how it just kind of like tucks. You wanna see why cheap parts are cheap? And there's nothing wrong with this lip. It's been a great lip, but when they made it, I prepped this pretty well, but when they made this, the oil that's in the materials didn't come out when I cleaned it, so you can just see all this stuff. Just literally, every time this thing twists, it just pops off. Snowing. My Dodge Neon. No, we got it pretty much cleaned up. The wheels look good though. I just sprayed them off. I actually have plans to do something to these, but that's not yet. So eventually, get back to this. So I'm gonna hook come along up to this and pretty much run it to the tree. And this is, I don't know what the method would be called, but you put tension on it, because I don't have anything to pull from on the other side to keep the car from moving, so I'm just gonna have to put tension on it and then smack it, and put tension on it and smack it until it like just moves over enough. You gotta work with what you got. And I can see that's ripped now. That's pulled down. That's pushed in. This piece is supposed to be flat. So this guy here is supposed to be completely flat with this. So it's pushed down and caved that in. So we might try and, that's pretty heavy duty. We might be able to get that smacked up and pulled over. Damn. It's carnage. You know, worst case situation, we can't get it, then I'm just gonna cut it off and then pretty much put a sleeve in there and just make this like a tubular front end, which would be cool. This is what we got set up. It's not optimal because it's going up, but it is what it is. We're gonna start straightening this piece out a little bit, getting it out of the way. Then we're gonna work on this rail and pushing it back over. All right, sit rep. Get a little bit straightened up. We're about to test for the headlight, kind of see how it's fitting. Okay, so we got our straight edge here. Just got it hung on these bolts. So this is pretty much centered over this hole, and it looks like I went too far that way. So I think that's why the headlight's not fitting, because this guy's pushed too far over and there's no clearance here. I don't want to just cave this in. I want the fender to fit right. So we'll take this section here and pull it back out. This is how it's in still. So it's way far out. I know the hood's jacked up, but it's still pretty close to its original shape. The hood wouldn't have came out that much farther. And this should line up with the fender pretty well. So I gotta figure out what's going on with this. I think it's kicked out here at the top. Okay, I think I've figured out the issue here. The hood is sitting pretty close to where it needs to sit when it's closed, and this gap is pretty massive. And then this one is too small. But yet the distance between that bolt and the shock tower and that one to the shock tower is almost exactly the same as those two. The only thing that I can think is the whole front needs to shift over that way. It's like a 1/2 inch or 3/4, and it should just tuck this light into here. I thought it was pulled out this way, but I think it needs to just slide over. So I'm gonna loosen this and make some clearance so I can slide it over, and then we'll just see what it looks like in there. All right, so what I think's going on here is this thing's pretty twisted up, and this one is bent in about a 1/2 inch. I got this one pushed out a little far, but what's up, little B? I think I'm gonna have to drill these tacks out, and that way I can kind of get this up out of the way, because I can't really get to this piece I need to bend with what I got. So I'm gonna have to drill these out. Hopefully not drill them all out, but if that's what I gotta do, we'll take this whole upper out and then weld it back in when we're done. It's a lot straighter. This piece is, I don't think it's gonna get there. It's gonna be pretty close to where it's at. But right now I am working on this guy. I've got this all pushed out, and this is supposed to be like square, like this side. So I'm gonna work on that trying to get this kind of pulled out. You can see it's pushed in that way. This thing's it's a mess. Get all this pried out, and I'll have to weld that back. And I sprayed my rad out earlier, so I'm hoping it's not leaking. I'm hoping it's just water that's coming off the rad, but yeah, it definitely could be leaking because it's bent. This side's looking pretty decent though. There's a big wrinkle right there that I can't really get out with what I got. So I'm gonna stay there until I end up getting hammer and body tools at some point. But got a lot of this straightened up, and these tabs were in the way of the light, so it's kind of yeah. I don't think this is bent a little bit, I think, but mostly it gave in right here, and I think this side's pulled out and this side's kind of pushed in. It's pretty close now. With this shot, it's a little tight down here, which I can straighten it out with the hood does need to come a little forward. That'll change. Actually, the fender might need to go back a hair. Yeah, I'm gonna move it back. It's as close as I'm probably gonna get it. It's a little bigger right here, but I still have to bolt the bottom on, so I can get that pretty much lined out. Except the door's bent right there, so it's gonna be a little wonky. That's pretty good, huh? I don't think a radiator's supposed to be shaped like this. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's got a leak somewhere, so I see punctures from zip ties. Maybe I pulled my zip ties too tight when I just threw this on there quickly. So, I don't know. I know this is time consuming and it's a lot, but I don't really have any special tools nor good previous body knowledge, and I feel like I'm doing pretty well. So look at it. It's not there yet. The hood, I think, does need to come forward a smidge, but it's so much closer. I'm gonna pull this hood forward a bit when I'm done. But I'm gonna get this tucked up to here. And a little bit more. Well, I think we're pretty much there for this side. When this gets to where it needs to be with all the brackets, it's going to be really, really close. And this looks way, way better over here. So we're going to move over there. All right, we're looking pretty close here. I'm gonna go get this cleaned up and lubed, put back on, so I can make sure the hood's where I want it. And then we're gonna tack that one back in and mark the back so that we can pull the fender and tack the back piece. And same with that side. But I wanna get the hood in and make sure it's close, because it looks pretty good here. Over here. Looks like this hood might have to go back on this side. Yeah, it's close. It's a little, I don't know, hold on. So it looks bad, but when I get it picked up, it's like probably, it's almost an eighth. We can worry about that later. All right, latch is on. It's a little uneven still, but the hood is messed up. Gets a little bigger right here, but I could always pull this out to match, but I like it's way closer. I gotta get it cleaned up, but those are tacked. Very hot. Ugly, but it's tacked in. Both of those are tacked in. So we're gonna fit the headlights and see what it looks like. It's not perfect by any means, but it is much better. I don't know what's going on with this gap here. I'm gonna have to get a better way to fix these into that, because this one's okay. I still gotta bolt the bottom of the fenders on. But it's there for now until I get newer parts. This radiator ended up finding a leak. It was hitting right there. And I just was looking from the bottom. I wasn't paying attention to this. It was low enough. It was just trickling, and since it's sitting on the hill, it usually doesn't leak, and it's usually down lower than that. I'll probably just JB weld it. I'm gonna need to get a new rad at some point, because this thing's, it's not cooked, but I don't want it in there. I've literally been at that all day. The only thing I didn't get done was the radiator patched, but I'm probably just scuff it up, use some JB weld on it. I don't really care about the radiator. I just need it to hold until I get another one. But car does look much better. Headlights aren't all sticking out, bumper's not all crooked. The hood mostly lines up, so for the amount of work in, I feel like there should be more, but sometimes when you're dealing with tedious stuff, especially cars that have been wrecked, it's just, especially when you don't have the right tools, it's just what it is. But you know, that's it's part of it. It's part of doing budget stuff. It is fun. It's experience. So like I said, I knew it was hit at some point. I just I didn't know it was as bad as it was. It's not a piece. It needs a lot of love, but it's way worse than I thought. I got it because it had the aluminum rad, it had coilovers, it had good wheels. They had the quick shift, whatever you want, short shift in it, and coilovers ended up being bad. Radiator's crooked. It's bent. I mean, the short shift, I'm gonna keep that, but it needs the seal and the basket, the little plastic basket in there, and some other stuff. So it's pretty rough, I'll admit that, but thankfully you can buy pretty much everything for these cars, and they go together not super simple. Like today, my back hurts, I'm tired, but I still love it. I'm gonna keep it for at least a couple more days, and you know, hopefully I keep it. You never know. I'm gonna try and get everything straightened out on it. I've already, I've sort of cleaned it. I've redone the amp wiring. I know I need to get the basket for it. I did the tires weren't balanced either. It's got brand new tires on it, and they weren't balanced. So I had a good little shake to it, and then after I fixed that, And then I found out the coilovers were bad, so I replaced those with the struts. And then after that, after I put good struts on it, then the upper ball joints are bad. So it's just one thing after another, but it's okay. I still love it. I got some A-arms, tubular A-arms on the way with the adjustable camber ball joint on it. So, you know, you get it's a reason to get race car parts. Thanks for watching. There's be some more coming.